But it's finally time for I'm an Incel, Ask Me Anything, aka literally this channel all the time in the chat. You guys are all incels for the most part.
If you could summarize your opinion towards women.
Like what I think of them?
Yes.
I do think they are very important, but...
Okay.
Some topics are hard to approach.
More and more male hatred against women is rising up.
You might call this a new phenomenon.
Either the subjects are inaccessible or people are uncomfortable discussing them.
If you're an ugly guy, you better get a good job and make some money, because nobody's gonna want to talk to you.
Girls, I will destroy you.
You don't deserve to get laid at all!
So we found those subjects in person, rented a space in Hollywood, and invited our audience and any strangers walking by to come inside and ask them anything.
More incel representation so far than the chat advice. Whenever we do a chat advice, and I always assume there's going to be some incels coming in. They never do. I guess we're about to find out what real incels think.
Okay. Hey, I'm Brendio. I also go by Derek. I'm an incel, and I'm here to answer people's questions about the topic.
I can start. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
So you're an incel?
Yes.
Why would you ever sign up to do this?
I suppose I would want to give more of a positive light on this community, which is a very negative light upon it.
Okay. And do you think that's a good thing?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because a lot of the boys in this community aren't bad people.
But you acknowledge that a good handful of them are, right?
Not a good handful, I would say a small handful.
Who hurt you, or what happened? What event sort of catalyzed this way of thinking and you getting into this kind of research?
Society.
Do you hate women?
No.
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 Do you have a female role model in your life?
Cap.
Female role model.
Cap.
Yeah, like a mom or an aunt or a friend?
I mean, I love my mom. I wouldn't necessarily
She gives me
consider her a role
tendies.
model, but I do love her quite a bit.
She gives me
If a woman was
tendies.
elected as president of the United States, how would you react?
I don't know. It probably would depend on the woman. I probably wouldn't be supportive of it, honestly. But
Why do you say that, if you don't mind me asking?
I do think that men should be the leaders and women should be the caregivers and the loving, supporting, and the teachers in some cases.
Since women of color or just women in general have been oppressed by certain systems and other oppressed communities, especially the LGBTQ+, all those don't really fit with the spectrum that incels or you have been talking about. So why do you think your method of thought would help fix what we have today?
I probably wouldn't view the things that you might view as oppression. I have a feeling. I would view it more as...
Meanwhile, he won't view like, the legacy of systemic racism as oppression. Maybe. We don't know if that's the kind of incel he is. But the real oppression is when he can't get pussy. That's pretty funny, dude. Like, that's pretty great that you're like literally like me thinking that I can't, not even like him not being able to get laid, but him thinking that it is impossible for him to get pussy is actual oppression, as opposed to the legacy of systemic racism, the legacy of slavery, the legacy of segregation. That, not real oppression.
How we treat children that we love. We control them, but we control them lovingly, not as a slave, not as we're forcing them to do things against their will. I would view it more as a loving domestic thing in the past. And I would say that if we were to do it in a civilized way, maybe in a more, even a Christian way, even though I'm not really advocating for a certain religion or ideology, I would assume that women would probably be happier. And I wouldn't just assume that blindly, I would assume that based on the data that I have seen.
What data have you seen that has brought you to this conclusion? Because I'm now curious where I can get this data from.
I couldn't reference it offhand, but I believe there was a study that I can't remember the name of it off.
Just 4chan. Just say it. It's 4chan. You know it's either 4chan or 8chan. We know where that came from. The information came from a message board that I frequent. It's called lookism.com, where we consistently rate the looks of people that are different than us. Also, thank you for the raid, Chapos. The Chapo cells are here. We are currently watching an Incel AMA on Jubilee.
At the top of my head.
Okay. What do you think it is about liberal areas that create behavior in women that you think is a problem?
Promiscuity leads to increased standards in more primitive aspects, such as looks. And that typically makes it harder for some people to find a relationship, including sometimes good-looking people. Like, there's guys who are much better looking than I am who are having a really hard time finding someone in a place like LA or in London.
And this is precisely why they are prone to reactionary politics, okay? This is why the red pill shit is primed, okay? Is primed. It's perfect for reactionary, even sometimes fascist politics. Like, because the idea is that, like, Western culture or Western liberalism or cultural Marxism has infested Western civilization and has made women more promiscuous and therefore is eliminating the chances that this guy can get pussy. Meanwhile, this guy is working overtime to ensure that he never gets laid. Like, literally overtime, making sure that, like, no one will ever fuck him as hard as he can. And he's like, oh yeah, it's actually because of feminism.
Or in Auckland, New Zealand, but they probably would have a perfectly fine time finding a woman somewhere else.
So you think that promiscuity is the problem, and if people were more monogamous and more withholding, that would sort of fix society?
Yeah, I suppose if people were more traditionalist.
There have been a few mass shootings in the past where...
At what part of a traditionalist society is this bitch going to fucking survive with his chicken tendies and good boy points? Here is what I don't understand. These people want a traditionalist society. It's like, what are you bringing to a traditionalist society? Like, I love whenever they, not this guy specifically, but I love when, like, alt-right nerds are always like, oh man, we are descendants of, like, Nordic Vikings or whatever. It's like, dude, you would literally be a slave at that point. They would enslave you. You would be the village bitch with your little fucking frail ass. Thank God for technological development. Thank God for all of that liberalism and that progress that plenty of people with your mentality tried to fight back against, that we have gotten to a point where you are no longer being used as a pocket pussy by fucking Viking raiders, okay? It is idiotic to assume that you would have any sort of success unless you were fortunate enough to be born into a royal fucking family or some shit, okay? In which case, you would probably be in a good position, right? But if you don't have the same financial situation here right now in 2019, and you were not born into a tremendous amount of wealth, what makes you think you would be better off in that time? So dumb.
These shooters actually stated that they were incels or were radicalized by online incels. What do you think about their actions?
I condemn their actions. I don't believe violence is the solution. I don't believe attacking random people is going to fix anything, whether they're, women or men. I do think that the reason why they committed those actions was probably because of out of desperation or out of, mental problems that probably could have been prevented had
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm out
the
of
right
control.
support
I apologize for that.
was in their community, in their household. If people saw what they were posting and saw what they were experiencing in life and did something to help them.
Was there like a pivotal moment in your life, like a straw that broke the metaphorical camel's back?
It's constant years of rejection, no matter who the person was, constant years of rejection in other aspects of my life. It did kind of push me towards more, I suppose, radical beliefs, but I suppose they're only like radical, but they're more just old beliefs, really.
No, it sounds like I had another like metaphor, like death by 1,000 cuts. It's not like one pivotal moment, but it sounds like a bunch of things built up over time.
Yeah.
One of the common criticisms about the incel community is that you feel entitled to sex or intimacy. Do you believe that you deserve sex or intimacy? from a woman?
I think everybody at some level deserves someone that loves them and, you know, respects them, as long as you are also loving and respectful towards that person. You know, they're
Okay, second part of that literally completely ends the first part of it. You already made sure that, like, it doesn't make sense. Do you deserve it? Are you entitled to it? Or do you have to work for it? In which case, you already admitted that you have to work for it. You already solved the equation in your mind, but some part of you still is like, no, I think I am entitled to it. Either you're too afraid to say, yes, I'm entitled to pussy, or deep down inside, you're already aware of what you need to do, and you just refuse to do it.
they're an equal. You know, you're not like seeking someone beyond yourself. You know, you don't have like too high standards, I suppose. You know.
If you can tell the world about something about being incel that, you know, that may not be in the internet or that's overlooked heavily, what would it be?
I don't know. I think it's mostly that most of the men are not inherently bad people. A lot of them are just lonely. They just need some help, really.
Okay. Would you say that there's anything that other people can do to help guide or just support or anything?
You know, the lonely person in your class or the lonely person in your workplace, maybe he's an incel and he's not letting you know, and he's just kind of afraid to, you want someone positive, just be nice, say hi, try and make friends with him. You don't have to date him, you don't have to whatever, just, you know, brighten up someone lonely's day, I suppose.
Okay, noted. Thank you.
You don't want to be an incel?
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, it's part of the whole involuntarily thing. I mean, you know, you want to try and escape it, you want to be something better, you know, you want to.
Here's a good way. If you are a legitimate incel, or if you frequent like lookism or our brain cells or any of these fucking now quarantined communities, let me tell you the first step, okay? It's very hard. It's very hard. I'm not going to lie to you. But the first step to escaping inceldom is stopping your frequent visits to these fucking communities where they keep pulling you back down. Yeah, RCTH, R Chapo Trap House, r/Destiny, r/Hasan Piker. These are all communities that you need to stop visiting routinely, okay? Oh my God. But no, for real, it's, yeah, crab mentality. Natalie has talked about this in her, ContraPoints has talked about this in her video on incels. It's really informative. I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't. But like, there is yeah, the crab mentality is just like crabs that are in a bucket will pull one another down. And that's precisely what they do. These communities, that's precisely what they do. They try to like suck you back into the deep, dark void. It is like a suicide cult. That's the best way to start your journey away from being a fucking incel, okay?
Get a wife, get a girlfriend, get someone who loves you, spend your life with them, and be happy. And
what's one thing you wish people understood better about you?
I don't know. I guess I wish people would recognize.
Mad at Contra again? What? I've never been mad at ContraPoints. What the fuck are you talking about? Do people just expect, I just assume like, oh, not you, poo-poo.
How much effort I'm trying, I suppose. Like, you know, I'm working out typically daily. I've lost over 100 pounds. I'm out there job hunting actively. I don't think people recognize how much effort the incels in general try to put into bettering themselves. I would say, you know, people don't recognize their effort. They just assume that they're all like lazy and sad and angry at women and just giving up and things of that nature, I suppose.
Okay.
You don't have to see the bad things in the world and then come out a bad person. You can just see the bad things in the world and then improve upon yourself because of them, I suppose.
So you do have hope.
Yeah, I have hope, yeah. I'm a very hopeful person, I suppose.
I won't lie, this went a lot differently than I thought it would. I thought we'd be yelling at each other, you know?
It was nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Just say you want a state-mandated girlfriend and go, brother.
I hope you liked it.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, he touched a girl. He's no longer an incel. I'm not gonna do the pick up yourself from your bootstrap shit, but like there is a concept of ascension even within the incel community, so it doesn't matter. But like, homie doesn't want that. Pretty obvious. Homie is doing ironically the same thing that like conservatives do all the time, where they look at legitimate forms of oppression, legitimate forms of struggle, they belittle it, they devalue it. They say, "Oh, black people have everything already handed to them." And they're just fucking complaining, and then they literally turn around and say, "Me not getting pussy is the pinnacle, is the apex of fucking oppression, is the apex of struggle." Like, it is hilarious. It's the same shit with conservatives. Like, me, a jet ski dealer's son, am oppressed because rich white people are being oppressed in society right now. Meanwhile, all of these like, you know, Honduran moms that are coming over with their fucking childs under their arms over the border, those people are getting handouts, and I don't want it. And it is just basically the conservative tale as old as time. When did he say that? No, this guy specifically didn't say that, but I'm saying conservatives is a well-established conservative trope. So your solution for them is to just work on yourself? How come it's wrong to say that to depress people, but for incels is just do something forehead? Because there are things that you can do. Going to therapy is infinitely important. Seeking professional medical treatment is something that I highly recommend for incels and for depressed people. But in the meanwhile, there are certain things that you can do to better yourself that will greatly help your life, okay? Going to the gym is absolutely one of those things. Like, even if you're depressed, I say this all the time. I'm like, look, I'm not the best person to give advice on depression. I highly think you should, I highly suggest you seek professional help. You should go and get therapy. There are resources out there readily available for people. There are resources out there readily available for people where you can try to find cheap therapy. Like, there's a sliding scale, I think. What is it called? I'd give my therapist depression. Therapy's expensive and the rest takes a lot of effort. Okay, I know therapy's expensive, but no, there are cheap options to get therapy, okay? God damn it. We talked about this before. I think it is literally called sliding scale. Yeah. The amount you pay goes by your income on sliding scale therapy, okay? Dude, you're being completely inconsistent on this, no cap. How am I being inconsistent on this? I use sliding scale therapy, even with my insurance, fucking $200 a session. I'm working middle class. Okay, guys. Here is a good option for people. It's called sliding scale therapy. You can get counseling based off of your income, okay? You can get counseling based off your income. If you're an incel, immediate things that you can do, like immediately improving your living conditions, cleaning your room, unironically, is a good way to start. Like, small goals that you make for yourself that are achievable in the short term will help kickstart your day, and then help kickstart your day. Then you can move on to larger goals, like actually going to the gym. These are things that you can greatly improve your life with and combat depression in the short term. But ultimately, I still highly recommend getting therapy, okay? And there are ways to do that. Sliding scale therapy is a fee structure therapists sometimes use to give people with fewer resources a lower fee. In fact, the sliding scale fee is commonly used in many types of industries, including legal service and dental care. But yeah, I go to the gym and don't clean my room. No, the cleaning your room part is like what I do as well. Like, these are things that I do as well to fucking deal with my own mental health problems. Paid sponsor? Sliding scale therapy is not like a thing that I can recommend. Therapy plus self-help, like what he's talking about, are both required to treat depression. Anyway, so that's not a joke. That's actually the same advice that I would give to incels. Is the same advice that I would give to anyone who is suffering from who's suffering from depression or any sort of mental health problem. So that's the recommendation. Too bad therapy is expensive. Oh my God, I want to die, dude. I keep saying I keep saying that, like, well, first of all, there's one thing you can do, which is support Bernie fucking Sanders so you actually get Medicare for all and comprehensive coverage so your therapy is free, okay? That's number one. So shut the fuck up about how expensive therapy is. We know, okay? I know. That's why we're fucking trying to get Bernie elected, all right? So go and fucking vote for Bernie Sanders and canvass for Bernie Sanders. Maybe you'll meet some other fucking human beings in the process. Maybe those other human beings will give you a refreshing, different perspective on life. So there's that. That's one thing you can do in the short term and the long term. Other free ways to get therapy is if you're in college, your campus almost always is going to have free counseling, okay? That's one thing that you can use. Some colleges, even if you are not a college student, but at least in the age range, you can still get like some sort of counseling for free or very cheap. So these are ways that you can do it. Like, I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not saying that, you know, just get better forehead. I'm not saying like just don't be depressed. Pfft, you're depressed, go outside. I'm trying to give you as best like as the simple tools to help yourself in the short term. Okay? Another way to do it is by donating to your favorite streamer. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. That's fucked up.